Okay, we are at Parshat Shavua, and it's the weekly Torah portion, Parshat Ekev, and it's on page 980 in the Art Scroll. Okay, here we go. So it says, Vaya Ekev Tishmu'un, and it was because, or it will be because you listen, Eid HaMishpatim Ha'ela, to these judgments, Ushmartem, and you will guard, Va'asitem otam, and you will do them, V'shamar Hashem Elokecha lecha, that Hashem, your Lord, will guard you. And Habrid V'yad HaChesed, this covenant for you, this covenant and the kindness, Asher Nishba La'avotecha, that he swore to your fathers. The first question that bothers Rashi is the word Ekev. How do you say because? Ki. Okay, so it could have said ki. Ekev is a strange way of saying because. So Rashi says, looking at that language, the other word for akev is heel. Right? Yaakov. Heel. So Ekev is heel. And so Rashi says, he asked the question, why did Hashem use the word Ekev in this case instead of just saying, Vaya ki tishma'un, it would be because you will listen, or if you will listen. So Rashi says a famous thing, Ima mitzvot kalot, if light mitzvot, sha'adam dash, ba'kevav tishma'un, that people thresh with their feet or heels, you will listen to. So you're saying what's going on here? That the language Ekev is hinting to something, a very important message, that some people may disregard certain mitzvot as relatively unimportant, and therefore they're going to tend to ignore them. So Rashi is telling us the Torah is saying is that, and our scroll says very nicely, the Torah assures Israel that if they are careful to observe even these neglected commandments, they can be certain that Hashem will reward them with His covenant and His kindness. So that's the first thing Rashi tells us, that people tend to treat mitzvot that they don't consider important and not do it. So Rashi says, if we do that, then fine. Hashem will reward us by keeping our mitzvot. So you understand the problem here, right? Ekev, that's really the whole concept of that. That's really the whole situation. Then it says, V'shamar Hashem. Rashi again says, Yishmor lecha, he will guard for you. Problem is, okay. He will guard for you. Where does it go to? Oh, ha'ev tachta, he will guard for you. He will guard his promise to you. So that, and then namely to give you the covenant and Brit. Next verse. V'ahevcha. So it says, the next verse says, V'ahevcha, and he will love you. V'irachecha, and he will bless you. V'hirabecha, and he will increase you. Again, all four following these mitzvot that people generally don't, along with the rest. By the way, let's think about that. What would the example be of a mitzvah that people of this Tariag, of the 613, that people may not consider as important as the big ones? And what are the big ones, for that matter? What would you say? Give me some examples of what you think, first of all, would be the big ones. Like what, though?
Don't kill.
Don't murder. Don't steal. How about a light commandment now? Give me an easy one that people would think, what's the big deal?
It's in the Shabbat that we have to do things. It's not making error. Yeah, that's making error.
It would be a Rabbanan. That would be a rabbinic injunction. But we're looking at is, let's say it says to give meiser, to give a tenth of your produce, or to you think, why should I give that? Or another thing would be that if I want to get the eggs away from a wild bird, I should chase the bird away first. That would be a light mitzvah in people's mind. Why would I do something like that? Yeah.
I just had a question. Does it have to be
wild to chase away, or can you, if it's domesticated, can you just pick it up, grab it?
That, in order to fulfill the mitzvah of what we call shaluch hakan, the sending away of the bird, it must be an undomesticated bird, because otherwise you can take the chicken egg from under the chicken. That's the point. Yeah.
If you're going to reach this semantics, if you're going to reach for a bird's egg, the bird will fly away. So just by going to the egg, you shoot the bird away.
You're saying just because you go for the bird's egg, the bird will run away? I'm not sure that's always going to be true. Right. It may be true for the birds we have around here, but if you have a hawk, I think you better watch out.
Why do you want a hawk egg?
Why not? What's the difference of egg? You will cook it up. What do you care what the egg is? Probably a bigger egg than a regular egg, right? I go for the size. I'm going for the egg. Yeah.
Can Jews go hawking?
What is hawking?
Using a hawk to
a falcon or a
hawk.
falcon them off to hunt stuff.
To hunt stuff.
What is it?
It's you train a hawk or a falcon to go up in the air, find a rabbit or a small animal, go down, grab it, kill it, bring it back to you.
Well, you couldn't eat a rabbit. A rabbit's not kosher.
But also you can't eat it, and Jews can't hunt for sport, so...
Right, we can't hunt for sport, and we can't eat it, so no, I guess you would not be doing that. But let's assume you could train to a kosher animal. Again, all kosher animals have to be slaughtered properly. Yeah. So, you don't hunt. How are you? So you're not going to hunt. You know. Okay, 980. 980. Amen.
What about fish?
What about fish?
How do you need to slaughter a fish?
You don't slaughter fish, you just catch it.
Oh, so can a bird catch a fish? Can you train a bird to catch a fish?
Good luck. If you can get that, you're all set. And they give it to you, by the way, not eat it. So, good luck. I don't think I'll train it, but that, okay.
Yeah, in China.
You never know. Anything could happen.
What page?
980.
Oh, 980.
Right. Okay, so...
Yeah.
Sorry? Ekev, right. So then it says, like I said, he will love you, he will bless you, increase you, uveirach, and he will bless pribitnecha v'yadmatecha, the fruit of your womb and the fruit of your ground, tiganecha, your what do you call it, grain, tiroshcha, your wine, v'yitzarecha, your oil, shagar alafecha v'shonecha, the offspring of your cattle and the flocks of your sheep. And then al hadama, on the ground, that on the ground that he swore to forefathers to give to you. Yeah.
When it says he shall double or not double, what is it? Multiply.
Yeah,
your fruits, your wine, your grain, your oil, or in whatever order that is in. But what does it mean by oil, specifically oil, not olives?
No what?
Olives give oil, or is he talking about ground oil?
Well,
He's talking about food oil.
Back then there wasn't petroleum. Or there was.
He's talking about food oil.
Okay, so why... But olives are fruits.
So what are you asking? Why doesn't he say your olives?
Why is it specifically oils and not say double your fruits, which includes olives, which if you have more olives, you have more oil? Why specifically say oil?
So it's redundant.
Yeah.
Well, it's not.
If you double your fruits, you double your oil because the olives would be.
No, but it's a product. It's a byproduct you're looking at. Tiroshcha is not. We're saying grape product. Your wine, right? Why didn't you ask about that too? You should have said grapes, not wine. Wine is a byproduct, correct?
Right. Yeah.
So you should have asked it there too, right? Yeah. You should have. You didn't, but you should. If you want to follow logic, that you're saying you're only asking on Yitzarecha, which is the oil. So you're saying I'm going to increase your product line.
Oh.
To Gancha's your grain. He doesn't name all the separate grains. Your product line. You're going to. When it comes to, you asked me an interesting question, and I'm not sure if I'm going to answer your question. You'll have to decide if I answer your question at this point. But what I'm hearing you ask, or should be asking, I could be a politician on this one, is why didn't Hashem spell out everything? Why did he pick on 3 major categories? Grain, wine, oil. Why not say your barley, your wheat, your rye? Why not list everything, right? That would be, I hear that as a question. Am I correct with your question?
Yeah.
Okay, so I think the way you'd have to answer that is, when it comes to brachot, Hashem doesn't delineate everything. He leaves it open-handed, because brachot, blessings, abundance is just that. It's not something that can be limited. Unlike our punishments, which are limited. Hashem gives 98 curses throughout the entire Torah. And that's all that will happen to us. So we know the end of what, if we do this wrong, if we do something wrong, we're going to get hit like this. We know that. We know our consequences. And that you need to know, because, Hashem wants to be straight with us and says, this is what will happen. Okay, fine. If you don't do if you break 7 sins, which we talked about in Parshat B'chukotai. So I refer you back to that one. But the blessings here are open-ended. In other words, if you go to an investment agency and you give them money, they'll tell you, you can make 30%. And that's only, if they're smart, they'll say, historically you make 7% over the long term. But if you invest now and we have a good market, you can make upwards of 30%. And look what happened last year. We had 30. We had the other year, we had 25. I mean, we have to tell you 7 because we don't want you to feel cheated. But imagine what you could make. Open-ended bracha, if you will. Okay? You can make 100% more. How much we know what the stock market will do? We don't know. Historically, we can figure out. So Hashem is doing something even better. He's saying, if you just follow these laws and treat every one of them as equal, even though that people will denigrate whatever law, shatnez, shatnez and the other laws that we have, the people, who cares about these laws? God doesn't really care about we're willing to live together. He just made the law to give me one more thing to do. But, really leave me alone. What does it really mean? Okay. So on. So people will look at laws and decide what they believe God really cares about. And that's what the parsha is starting off with. Don't do that to my halacha. And if you treat them all properly, then I will give you these things. But it'll be so much more that I can't list everything. Because to list it would be ridiculous. Yeah. That's how I would answer it. Yeah.
So then why does he specify wine and oil? Why not wine, vinegar?
Again, he's saying vinegar is not a good product, by the way. Vinegar is not considered something spoiled. Vinegar is, we're not emphasizing cheese. Okay. But what I'm saying is here, you were getting groups of things that people would appreciate. Wine was considered something good. Oil was considered something important. These were great commodities. Grain in general is considered something good. And then you have, like I said, the offspring of your cattle, and your fruits are the fruits of your ground. By the way, here it says everything again. And then the flocks of your goats. And here's a strange word too. Ashtarot is this very strange word. So Rashi says at that point that, explained that the rabbi said, the Rabbeinu Amru, Lama Nikra Shemam Ashtarot. Why were they called Ashtarot? Shema Ashtarot Ed Ba'alehem. He's playing on words because they enrich their owners. So these goats, that's what Hashem is saying. I'm going to enrich you. You have a product line. I'm going to make it very successful for you if you just follow my law. So again, it's what I've been saying all the way through. If we follow halacha, if we follow the Torah, for the right reasons too. I mean, it has to be for the right reasons. It should be for the right reasons. It doesn't have to be, but it should be. Hashem is saying, I will reward you greatly. Because imagine in that world, just like in this world, just like in 2016, people don't feel that they are obligated to follow law. Again, will you come to shul? Will you put it to film on? Will you keep kosher? Well, already kosher is a different thing too. But will you do all those things? Yeah, people will more or less do that. I don't think it's good to have religion, but when it comes to following the laws of business. That is the hardest thing for a businessman to do. Because the laws of kosher mishpat seemingly were not written for today's business model. Seemingly. Obviously it is in the long term, but because you have to interpret it properly, and we have to look at how we're understanding it instead of just looking at Shulchan Aruch of the 1500s. But it's necessary to look at those laws, to see the principles of Baba Kama, Baba Mashiach, Baba Batra, and all the other, and all the other laws, and see how they should be followed. And it's not something that you can just say, well, I'll leave it to the rabbis to figure out how I can get all the leniencies, how I can sell my stocks and have stocks in McDonald's or pig farms or whatever else I'm going to have. Can I be involved in that? Can I be involved in the industries that Jews shouldn't be part of, if you will? Okay, so religious Jews, should I be part of that? Can I be part of that? What do I do? What do I do on Shabbos? I have a store that must be open on Shabbos. What? Because that's what the contract calls for in the mall. Nursing homes. That's even. That's a class. The classic example actually was the mall. The mall, because the mall says you must be open. You're renting out a store that says you must. Right. You must be open. The nursing home, if I wanted, the nursing home, I could make Shomer Shabbos. I could make kosher. I could do all that. I could follow halacha 100% with the nursing home.
You're still getting income from it 7 days a week.
Okay, that's how can I get income? Correct. How does the income work? So they rely upon the rabbis to come up with all the contracts. But if a person is looking on that and saying, okay, what is my obligation? What do I have to do? Instead of rabbi, what should I do? It's very simple to go to a lawyer. It's very simple to go to a rabbi or whoever, the expert in the field, and say, okay, this is what I'm going to do, make it legal. And we get it done. Within realms of possibilities, we'll get them done. But in general, I go back to this, if we as Bnei Yisrael care enough, we ourselves will go through the sources. We ourselves will draw up the stuff, and then, after we've come to that, then you go to the Rav or whomever and say, okay, this is what I propose. What say you? And again, by the way, let's understand something too. If the kehillah, if the congregation, is so scholarly, you're not going to want a rabbi who doesn't know more than you. The rabbi will have to be forced to move up in the world of learning. So really, the congregation decides who they're going to get. So if they're educated, then they get an educated rabbi. If they're not educated, then they get the rabbi who, knows how to read Hebrew. But it's and I'm picking on my profession, not his. Okay, but really that's what happens. The rabbi may not know enough. And that's why you're seeing all these people who are advertising. You want a rabbi who knows about Eruv, you want a rabbi who knows Nida, you want a rabbi who knows blah, 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 blah. All these things they want them to know because they're at that level. You don't see a place like the place I was working who were demanding that. They just weren't demanding that because who was there who was Shomer Shabbos to demand that? They wanted a rabbi to bury them. They want a rabbi to lead a life cycle, run a bar mitzvah. A rabbi need to be bar mitzvah. The first time, I remember I was working in Kashrut, and I got a call from a shul, I won't say where, and they said to me, the kid's having a bar mitzvah, so we need somebody to lead the service, we don't have a rabbi, or it's on vacation, whatever it was. And I said, okay. I never did this before. I said, oh, whatever. I can learn the Torah. That's what you want. Fine. So he said, and you have to give a charge to the bar mitzvah boy. I said, a what? Yeah. What's a charge? You want me to give him a charge card? I understand the question. What do you want me to do? No, you have to tell him how important it is to be a bar mitzvah. I said, oh, you want to give a drasha? No, not just a drasha. It has to be a charge.
Yes.
And he's using a term that he understood. I was trying to figure out what he wanted.
You hadn't heard that before.
I never heard it before in my life. I wasn't a pulpit rabbi. I was I was in kashrut. So I'm catching up on the fly as to what this Michigan wants from me. I mean, I didn't. I figured out what he wanted. And I called up some rabbis and I asked them, what is the charge? And they told me, fine. But but that's what I'm saying. You have to, if as smart as the congregation is, they want the leader smarter. Which is why here, I said about the rabbi, when he walked into this place, not Midwest Torah, HOC, and he gave his first speech of halacha, it must have been very scary for him. Because he's not speaking to 20 people from the cornfields. He's speaking to 40 rabbis.
Yeah.
All of smicha. I mean, who are you talking? Who are you telling your halacha to? He has to raise the game. Sorry? Worse. The choir listens to you. Rabbis don't listen. Worse. When you're educated, you say one thing wrong, the hands fly up. All 50 people, or whoever's there, what are you doing this? What are you doing that? And it's like, it's a 5-minute rush. Leave me alone. I said something to fill 5 minutes. And you want to ask me shilas? But they do. That's what I'm saying. When you get to that level, or in the yeshiva, it's even worse. The rabbi says something, the teacher says something, everybody starts yelling. And forget the raising of the hands. That's being polite. What do you mean? Again, it's all the audience. Okay? So that's what's going on here. Okay? So now, again, so you enrich it will enrich the person, right? Another thing from this verse that we see is that when Hashem, it says, He will love you, He will increase you, He will bless you, and He will increase you, and the fruit of your womb, it means, Rashi says, I believe it's here, if not here, it's somewhere else. Oh, it's the next, all right. Oh no, it's the next verse, I'm sorry, one more verse. So it says, Baruch tiyeh mikol ha'amim, so blessed will you be from all of the nations, lo yeh becha, there will not be amongst you, akara, uvehem tacha. A male who is not able to have children, a female who is not able to have children, nor will you have animals that are, how do they say, barren. You won't have a barren animal either. If you follow the law, if you follow my Torah and all these things, one of the blessings is there will be nobody who is barren. And for everybody who knows people out there, it's sometimes very difficult to have a child.
Yeah.
It's not so easy. Everybody thinks it's easy. It's not. I mean, mechanically it's easy, but Hashem has to say yes or no to that. You can get pregnant. You can have then a person can deal with a miscarriage. Okay, God forbid a miscarriage or whatever. Or some people just can't conceive, and they have to go to the doctors, and they have to pay all this money. By the way, on that note, there's some Rabbi Arush. Rabbi Arush is the one who's writing the Garden of Emunah, Garden of Gratitude, all the gardens out there. So he's from Eretz Yisrael. So he has an interesting thing. Again, take it as you will. Thank God I was never in that situation. But in general, when something happens that you're not, let's say when you were in between jobs, right? Yeah. So, or anyone who's in between jobs. So you're not having a baby. You can't find a shidduch. You're going on dates. It's not working out. What he says right away is that we should first of all thank Hashem. Not ask Hashem, why isn't it working? Don't complain. Right away, sincerely, that's the big thing, and sincerely thank Hashem for this and say, thank you Hashem for not letting this problem with dates or whatever it's going to be. And so in this case, thank you for not, he would say to this person, so not having children, thank you so much Hashem for not letting me have a children. I know it's all for my best. And I know this is where you want me to be. And I'm thanking you. I thank you. Let me have emunah in you. And by the way, when you think it's right, please do give me the shidduch or the child or whatever else. And through that, if you really are sincere, he argues, Hashem will bless you. Because Hashem just wants you to, his argument is Hashem just wants you to recognize that you need to work at something. And it says, by the way, if you think about it, when it comes to all the mothers, Sarah, Rivka, Rachel, all those three people, they had to pray profusely because they were barren. And they were praying, and it says Hashem just wanted, Rashi says, Hashem just wanted to hear their prayers. Not prayers of, why aren't I having a child? Just thank you, and so on and so forth. Having that connection. So it's interesting that Rashi brings out, Chazal said it, like I said, what Arush is doing is putting it into his book and making it one book, Garden of Gratitude. Yeah, what's your question?
It's more of a thing, like, for that, you're supposed to talk like, you're talking like a conversation you would, but for common courtesy type thing, when you ask somebody for something and you're behaving like that, you're saying, okay, if you're not going to give it to me, that's fine, I accept that, but if you change your mind, then I would accept that too, or have a good day. You wouldn't then, the next day, say the same thing again.
Why not? As a matter of fact, you would. In other words, if I'm going to pray to God,
Right.
okay, so then what I'm going to do is I'm going to first thank you. Okay, I'm going to thank you. Thank you for everything you've done. Think about how we daven every day. Thank you for what you've done. I know it's all for my best, and I accept that. Whatever you're doing is for my best. I have to really believe that. If I don't, then it's just a waste. I can say it, but it's not going to have the same effect on me or anything else. But if I really accept that, again, this is Arush's argument and it's based upon Chazal. I'm not saying he's coming up on his own. But if you say that and say it every single day, and by the way, he would say you should say it. He says you should do what we call hitbodedut, talking to Hashem one-on-one in your own language, for 1 hour every day. Besides davening. Besides what we daven. Davening is with a minyan you have to do too. But he would say, take that 1 hour, put it aside, take it 1 hour every day, and speak to God in your own language. Forget all the words, forget all what Chazal have set up that we need to say, Shema, and so on and so forth. Let's not get involved in that. Freestyle, to use that language. You're freestyling to God, and you're talking to God. Now, will God talk back to you? Maybe. In other words, what that means, by the way, and I'm saying this, what that means is sometimes you'll think, this is what's going on, and you'll speak it out. God may be speaking to you, because he's given that, it may be given that idea in your head. That's me speaking. That I'm not so sure God doesn't answer us back. I've said many times, I don't think we listen. And I think that's the biggest problem. I don't think that we're willing to really explore the problem. I'm basing myself on all these books that we've been going through. I really don't think that we're willing to be honest with ourselves. I think we all think we're tzaddikim. And what did I didn't do anything wrong. Oh, it must be you're testing me because you love me so much. Instead of really realizing, wow, really, I shouldn't have done that, should I? Okay, and I have to do tshuva for that. And I realized that was wrong. So hard to say that. It really is very hard for us to say that we're wrong. We don't want to admit it because that means we have to change. And so it really is very difficult for most people to say that they were wrong. What they'll say to you is, I'm sorry I hurt you because you think you hurt something. However they want to phrase it. But they're not going to come on and say, you know what, I was a real idiot. I shouldn't have done that. They'll just say, I'm sorry that you were hurt by what I said. That is the ultimate insult, by the way. I'm sorry you're hurt by what I said. In other words, what I said was true. I'm sorry you were hurt that. I have to tell the truth. I'm an Ish Emes, I'm a man of truth, and you are an idiot. But I'm sorry you feel bad about that. Really, I'm hurt. I'm going to do tshuva that you're an idiot. I can't do much. and you keep emphasizing, you're not doing anything for the person. Instead of just saying, you know what, I hurt you and I'm sorry. Shouldn't have done that. You're not an idiot, or whatever. Something like that. And by the way, it wouldn't hurt to lie in that situation. Because why should you tell a person, why should you insult a person? You have no right. Who are you? In reality, who are you? You can insult yourself. But even there is a detrimental if you really believe it. If you're going to insult yourself to improve, very nice. But if you're going to insult yourself just to say, I'm worthless and therefore why bother? Again, it's counterproductive. That's not what we're looking for. But here, like I said, he would argue, and he does argue, that we have to have that hitbodedut. So we would say the words, we could have the same speech every day. And think about this. When you wanted something from your parents, and maybe not you, okay, it may not have worked in yours, I don't know if you did it, but watch people. When a child wants something from their parents, they will ask for it day after day after day after day until either the parent says, enough. I don't want to hear, if I hear one more word about this, you definitely will never get this. Or parent gives in. We all learn that if I nudge you, that's a famous word. You know what nudge means? Nudge. Bother you. Bother, not nudge. Nudge. It's a Yiddish word. If I nudge you enough, if I bother you enough, you're going to give in to me. Either you're going to get angry with me and stop me. But if I nudge you, that's why your parents say, stop being a nudge! By the way, the English word nudge probably comes from that.
Nudge is an English word. Like
nudge is the English word.
Yeah, but it's nudge.
But I'm saying nudge is a Yiddish word, but nudge is probably where it comes from. It probably is the same relation, because I think you spelled the same too. But it's nudge doesn't mean, nudge means you're bothering me, kid. Don't be a nudge. As compared to nudge means I'm pushing. But it could be related.
Badgering.
Sorry?
You're badgering.
Badgering, you're badgering me. You're being a nudge. Right? Like I said, it can all be connected. But that's really what we have to think of when we're doing this. That God is our parent. And yeah, I can nudge you. But it has to be good nudging. I have to, again, be appreciative of what you've given me. Or what you haven't given me, by the way. Or what you haven't given me. And so then, I have no idea what that is. Okay. It's the longest number in history. I think it must be somebody from Israel. But that's what I'm saying. Okay. Let's go on. Now what happens? Furthermore, Hashem says, again, if you follow my commandments, V'heisir Hashem mimcha kol choli. Hashem will remove from you all sicknesses. V'chol madvei Mitzrayim ha're'im, and all the plagues and all these things, that the maladies, the bad maladies that he put onto Egypt, asher yadata, that you knew. Lo yisimam bach, he won't put them on you. Utanam l'chol b'sonecha, but he will put them on all of your enemies. So what happens? And he ends off, V'yachalta et kol amim, you will eat up all of you. In other words, you'll devour all of the nations. Asher Hashem l'kecha noten lach, that Hashem is giving to you. Lo tachos eincha leihem, don't have compassion on them. V'lo tavod Eloheihem, and don't worship their gods. Ki mokesh hu lach, because that will be the snare for you. The one thing Hashem will not accept is idol worship. So if you're going to make a peace treaty with these people, what's going to happen is they're going to invite you to their homes. They're going to invite you to eat. You're going to make the blessings to whomever they make their blessings to. Baal, Markelos, Jesus, what does it matter? And you're not allowed to join that. Besides, and mind you, let's say it's all kosher. Just for argument's sake, it wouldn't be the first time. I remember when I was in Moncton, New Brunswick, this priest, I guess he was a priest. No, he was married, so he had to be a minister. And he said to me, Rabbi, I want to have you at my home. I said, I'd love to. I was being nice about this. I'd love to, but I'm sorry, I'm kosher. He said, Rabbi, not a problem. I'm going to have it a barbecue. So you tell me what I have to do. Just buy a new barbecue. I'll get kosher meat. Whatever you want, I'll do. And you'll come to my house and you'll eat and share bread with us. And I said to him, thank you so much. Please don't go with any problems. I can't come. He said, but why? It's all kosher. I said, because I can't be served food from a non-Jew who's cooking. Do you really want to keep pushing the envelope? So I'm sorry, that's what my halacha holds. And he said, but why? I said, because if I take food from you or from your people, what's going to happen is chas v'shalom, I may marry one of you. That's what the rabbis say. Again, I can't, and I explained. I was very nice in the explanation. I don't think he was happy with me, but he heard me and he didn't keep bothering me. And I think that was the last invitation I got. He must have spread it around to everybody. Don't invite Rabbi Neville. Yeah. What's the question?
What says you'll devour the nations that are in the land of Canaan?
Yes. Because that's what Hashem's giving him.
Right.
But that's why he's saying, don't let them live.
Right.
You have to wipe them out. And again, because as long as you keep them there, as we know for what happened, they will become a snare to you. They will drag you into their little games, and you don't want to do that. Okay, so now what happens? Okay, good. That's enough time. So that's it. Now we go into the other parts of this. Ki tomar bilvavcha, lest you say in your heart. Perhaps you're going to say in your heart, Rabim hagoyim ha'elim imeni. These nations are more numerous than me. Echa uchal harisham. How can I drive them out? Right? That's the problem you're going to have. So Rashi says, Al kurchalash. Okay, he's just saying that. So what happens? So Torah says, Lo tira mehem. Do not be afraid of them. Zechor tizkor. Surely you shall remember. The English emphasis here. You shall surely remember. Et asher sa Hashem elokecha. That which Hashem your God did lefaro to Pharaoh and all of Egypt. So what's going on there? Why is he saying that? What happens when I remember that?
Even the mightiest nation.
Right, even the mightiest nation fell to Hashem, so I don't have to worry that they're more numerous. On top of that, what was I in Egypt? I was a slave. We were powerless. Here we're in our nation, we have a standing army, or at least people can fight, they're independent. Remember, we're 40 years later. These aren't just slaves, this is the next generation. And so he said, Rashi says, Lo tira mehem. She says, okay, so it's just saying it shouldn't fear him. Fine. Now let's go on. Hamasor hagadolot, and then he continues to tell him, Hamasor hagadolot shiravinecha, the great signs, the great wonders that your eyes saw, ve'otot, the signs, ve'moftim, the wonders, ve'yadach hazakah, the strong hand, ve'ezrod tziyah, the outstretched arm, asher si'alcha Hashem elokecha, that Hashem, your Lord, brought you out. Kain ya'aseh, so will He do. Who's He? Hashem elokecha. Shall Hashem your God do to all the nations that you are fearing because of them. In other words, he's saying, don't worry about it. Hashem is going to take care of you. Now, Rashi says, why all these different terms? Hamasot, the signs or the wonders, the tests. These are the nisyonot, the tests that he did. Fine. Otot, the signs, namely turning the staff into a snake, or the blood of the river into pouring the blood onto the dry ground, or the moftim, the signs, the makot that were wondrous, the yada chazakah, this outstretched hand, that was the plague of boils. This is the outstretched arm, was the sword that, in other words, the death of the firstborn. So all those signs, all those words are looking at specific signs that Hashem did to show that He's large and in charge. And it says, Gam et Sirah, and also the hornets. Yeshalach Hashem bam. Hashem will send forth these hornets against them. Ad avod, Nisharim and Shirim Penach, until the survivors and hidden ones will perish from before you. So Hashem is really taking care of us here. And it says, what is it, Sirah, this I said hornet. So shahayt zereket vehem mara misrehem sama ednehem b'chol makom shayin nisharim sham. Apparently, they had some sort of poison that they would spew out and would blind the eyes of the people wherever they would find them. So I don't know what kind of hornet this is.
One that you do not want to
You don't want to, you don't want to deal with that. But he doesn't even. What does he say? Does he say a hornet swarm? But Rashi says the hornet swarm that will, like I said, it spews out some sort of poison that will blind the person. I don't know. I'll take Rashi's word for it. Okay.
May I have a description?
Is that again?
May I have a description? May I have a description?
Description of what?
Of the hornet?
Again, I don't know. I don't know what it looks like. Rashi doesn't say what it looks like. He just says that it's hornets. He refers you to ArtScroll refers you to Exodus 23:28. So you can do your research.
big eye, fuzzy, kind of looking.
Sorry, again?
Big eye and
I don't know what it is. Okay, so it says, "Lo taros miperehem." You should not be. You shouldn't tremble before them. You shouldn't be broken before them. Ki Hashem lokechem v'kebech. Because again, Hashem, your God, is in your midst. Keil gadol v'nara, a great and awesome God. So again, what the main thing is, Hashem is saying, don't worry about it. Now he said, "V'nashal Hashem lokechem goyim mipanecha ma'at ma'at." Here's the strange verse. Hashem will drive out these animals, these goyim, little by little. Not all together, little by little. Why? Lo tu kalakol here. He won't get rid of them quickly. The reason being, you will not get rid of them quickly. Because if you do, you'll leave the land empty, and wild animals, undomesticated animals, will come in there. So God doesn't want to do that. Now, why would that be the case? He says, so Rashi says, "Hello, im osim ritzon shamakom." If they did the desire of Hashem, they followed the halacha. So you shouldn't be worried. They shouldn't worry from these undomesticated animals. God says in Job that the wild animals He will take away from you. So Ella, but what's going on? Why does Hashem say this? It was already revealed to Hashem that in the future the Jews would sin. So in other words, even though God doesn't control this and gives us free will, God still saw the future. So He's saying to them, I'm not going to drive out the goyim all at once. I'm going to do it slowly, because if we don't, because God knows you're not going to. I know you're not going to follow everything, but He doesn't say it to them. Doesn't say it. He says, "I'll do it slowly, because then the wild animals won't come in." But if they would have followed the law, by the way, they already have a record of not. Let's understand this. This is 40 years later. We have the Eglazav, we have the spy mission, we have Masa Meriva, we have Moab. There's a lot of times the quail. We have they couldn't follow two Shabbatot in a row. There's a lot of evidence to say they won't follow all of the laws. Okay, you understand that? So it's not really, I have to see the future. It's really not brain surgery to know we're going to break the rules. So that's why Hashem is saying to us, as a natural result of what you've done, this is happening. So we're going to drive out slow. But understand that if we would have kept it, we wouldn't have to worry about wild animals either. Or anybody. We wouldn't have to worry. Yeah.
Could it be for, I don't know if it was a psalm or something, but there's a line I remember somewhere like, "Oh, your enemies will be driven out slowly so that they will remember."
Say it again, please.
The enemies will be driven out slowly so that your people will remember, or somebody will remember. Like they'll leave an impression.
It's not a really quick thing.
It's not good enough, but to leave an impression, as a reminder, or as a. Well,
it does. That's what really happened. Right. It's not that Hashem wanted that. Hashem gets what He wants. Hashem's. If we would not have sinned, so then Hashem says, "I would have driven them out, and you would have been there in 3 days, and everything would have been fine." But the fact of the matter is, we sinned, so God didn't let that happen.
Right.
So the nations, but he wanted us, he commanded us to drive all of the nations out and to annihilate or drive out.
Right.
That would be, of course, our choice. But it didn't work out. We made peace treaties when we shouldn't have. Yeah.
Did anyone ask? Wait, is Moshe telling all this to Israel?
Telling everybody.
Yeah. Okay. So
In one mass
yeah.
thing. Yeah.
So
Assembly.
did anyone ask, if we do follow everything, why worry about the wild animals? Why did nobody?
Nobody would ask that question because it was understood already. In other words, it was understood. And what Hashem is hinting to is, you won't.
Yeah.
He doesn't say it straight out, obviously.
Yeah.
He wants us to have something to strive for. Maybe we will do it, but it's still, we have a record if not. So, and Moshe is speaking, remember, Moshe is speaking to the people in this book. It's not that God is telling Moshe say these words. Moshe is giving these words over, and Hashem in the end says, Moshe, great talk, write it down. I agree with everything you said. That's how we're looking at this book. So really it's a lot of what Moshe is saying, knowing what's going on, and giving these promises over, saying this is what Hashem will do if you just follow the law. You understand? So it's really a combination of tactics here. One, Hashem agreed with everything, knowing what we were doing, and knowing what we would do, and that's why he agrees with Moshe to say it in this way, as compared to the other way. Yeah.
I remember it was, I forget the entire, like the actual wording of it, but it was so that you push the enemies away slowly, so that the people, your people, somehow King David, I think, but so that your people won't forget so quickly what happens when you do what's wrong.
Could be. Again, it's the same sort of policy.
Right.
You don't want to leave the land uncultivated because then it's going to be harder to take over. Okay, in this parsha, I can't get to it. We'll have to stop here. But in this parsha, we also have the second, in the 6th Aliyah, you have the second paragraph of Shema. So Vayam Shema, which is the general statement to all of us, that if we follow, and it runs in with this, if you follow all of the laws, and you do it out of love for Hashem, then everything will go well with you. You'll live long on the land, and so on and so forth. If we don't, we'll be kicked off quickly off the land. And sadly, we got the second. We were kicked off quickly from the land. Okay, have a good shot, everybody.